Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, it's July. June numbers are all ready to go. We want to talk Santa Clara County. Where are you going to take us this month?
Yeah, so we're going to kind of keep on that theme of answering some questions. And so median price will definitely be something we cover.
Okay.
People wondering about what happened in the spring. I guess we're officially in summer, right? So, just talking about what happened, new listings, and also I'm going to mention inventory. I don't always do that, but that, and then the competitiveness of the market,
Yeah,
which,
that
spoiler
sales
alert,
price
shows
ratio
no
is a
signs of
little muddy.
stopping.
So,
Yeah,
hey, let's
I
dive in.
I say under my breath. Yes, so median sale price is high.
Yeah.
The
Hi.
5%, 5.5% increase from May, another all-time high. That's a
Wow.
28% increase since December, right? So 28% in, when you buy a house, no one says like, oh, 28%, 6 months. I mean, this is over time, and we'll see what happens. But for the moment, it's just some pretty strong numbers out in Santa Clara County. I mean, even when you look, this is month over month. So you look at the cities compared to May. I'm still not ready to do the year over year.
Okay.
And so this is, May. And, this is showing, oh, gosh, I mean, there's some still all-time highs happening. June 2021, still some all-times in Los Gatos and Los Altos as well. This is just something you have to keep your eye on. And I wanted to know early on in the presentation here that people who watch these videos pretty regularly may have noticed a change in some of the numbers, an
Yeah.
adjustment in some of the numbers. Yeah. And so whether you're looking at your city or you're looking at the county, something to remember, we have a data share, and that data from the other MLSs, from our neighboring MLSs, was introduced last month. And so you might see things have adjusted a little. So we retroactively adjusted things so that, it's still apples to apples. But it did change things, and it changed things down in both Santa Clara and San Mateo counties a little bit. So if you're looking at numbers and you're like, hey, wait a minute,
Yeah,
that's
what
not
happened there? But I think
that's
the key thing is the data is now even more accurate.
Well, it's just more complete.
You're
I would
more
use the
complete.
adjective,
Yeah.
yeah, complete, because it has more. So there were sales happening around us that we didn't have in here. And so this is definitely a good thing. It's just that there's, like when you start a new relationship, there are little
Yeah.
bumps in the road.
Good little
We're
bump.
we're still trying to figure it out, and, try to understand what it did to the data and how data might be affected coming
Okay.
in, So, definitely pay attention to that. Always look for that data as of date that I always put at the bottom of every slide, so you can see some were taken at different times. I try to be really consistent about that, but you have to look, because if someone comes to you and says, no way, Saratoga price went up from a month ago, you'd be like, wait, when did you get that? Where's that from?
Exactly.
Let's make sure it's month over month. Let's make sure it's single family only. So all of this, the tagging that we do at the bottom
A lot of
of this
factors.
slide.
A lot of
Yeah,
factors.
lots of factors. And so, this is kind of what we're saying. And speaking of Saratoga,
Yeah.
it did decline, but last month, May, was an all-time
It was
high
an all-time
price.
high.
So there you go. That's what you tell your client there. But anyway, so yeah, it might have adjusted in the median sale price and common interest as well. So this
Yeah.
might not quite look like the graph, but this is a good year of Santa Clara County so far for that common interest. 3.3% increase from May. That's not an all-time high price. It kind of looks like it from this chart, but we saw 950,000 in May of 2018. But we haven't seen numbers like this since then, right? So 10% since the beginning of the year, not quite keeping pace with single family. We wouldn't expect it to. But still a very good year for some of your folks, looking to buy or sell in that common interest market. It depends on where you are, because we're seeing some markets make some real month over month improvements, or increases, I should say. And then we saw some cities that couldn't keep pace with May, because May was really big. I mean, Gilroy, that's high, but November 2020 was higher. It looks like an all-time high price for San Jose common interest. So it was 820,000 in June of 2018. So I think this is a smidge over, and that's with those new builds coming in the market. We don't know those towers, if they're selling or not.
Right.
But
Well,
that
that
was
was
good.
only
So
2 years ago, 3 years ago now. Maybe those people are going to come up for resale pretty soon. And then we'll see, we'll pick up those sales as well.
well, and with that new new
The
those
new,
new builds, they're coming on. That might affect the data. We won't have it, but that could even mean that it's higher, right?
right.
So this is an all-time high, but there might be a premium paid for those new builds. I don't know. So
you
yeah, they're
made
really dependent.
you made references to 2018. I just want to make sure for everybody, both new and old in real estate, 2018 was a banner year in real estate. And so,
Yeah, it was just volume, prices, sale to list price. Yeah, it's kind of the benchmark year in the recent, past. And so
yeah,
for sure we mentioned that a lot. And people have said, 2021 is resembling 2018 in a lot of ways. And so yeah, the question is, when are new listings going to, when are we going to see the market, the sales cycle start to kind of go down? You can see it here, even just within this picture. 2020 was odd, but
right.
most of the sales cycle looks like that beginning left-hand part of the graph, right? Just kind of comes up, comes down, maybe has a little bounce back in the fall. So far, just when you think that new listing number is going to trend down, it popped back up again. So 1504 or around then, much higher than prior years. Actually, the next best year is 2018, 1251. Right. So that's really big, 41% increase over last June. I mean, this is so basically a big June, right? And
Right.
so,
And June's, June is not only because we're coming out of shelter in place, we're out, we're having fun, we're going to restaurants again. We got graduations took place in June, shifts out of school. It's a lot of things happen in June, yet the new listing still came to town.
yeah, it was. And I told you I'd mention inventory because they don't always talk about that. So inventory's low. So you see this graph and you think, oh, that must have meant that there was, inventory. So inventory, the snapshot of the last day of June, kind of like a placeholder, or what,
Right.
like I said, a snapshot, right? But it's not. So what goes on comes back off so quickly. The inventory is just, I mean, we've seen a couple months of increases. June had the highest inventory so far this year compared to prior months. However, when you compare it to the last 5 months, it's lower than at least 50, sometimes 200 homes, right? So there's nothing sitting. Everything's going
No.
on and coming right back off. Yeah. So when people ask me about inventory, I get asked that a lot. I thought I would throw it in there. We'll have to see what happens. I mean, if you see this is more maybe month over month increase than we might have thought we would see. This is sometimes the market starts transitioning, right? When new listings and closed sales start to decrease in June.
Right.
But I mean, this is a lot. I mean, gosh, I mean,
6% in San Jose up to 751. That's from 709. That's significant.
Yeah. One of the things I was looking at was just kind of does May to June. I have it in my mind. That's when things start decreasing. Milpitas, Los Altos Hills, Campbell, et cetera. I was looking back. You often see new listings decline from May to June. Not always, but most of the time. And so this is really great stuff for your buyers. They're going to have some choice out there. These are the cities where it did decrease. Each of these cities, except for Palo Alto, had at least 2 months of decline. So these cities have, with the exception of Palo Alto, been kind of on the decline for the last couple of years, meaning late spring was, big for them so far.
Right.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, we're starting.
Saratoga had a bang up month last month.
Oh yeah, sale records in single family and common interest. So yeah, I mean, so that might, I don't know. We'll see what happens. With the lack of new listings, we'll see. This is common interest where, again, we're seeing most markets have more new listings than a month ago. 2 months of new listing increases for the county, 731, roughly more new listings we've seen in a single month since at least 2018, right? So this is a big June. And I would encourage people to keep looking at it because it is going to cycle down, right? We always see it sometimes start to there's less volume, fewer new listings, fewer sales. Sometime during the summer, most of the time. I don't know what will happen this year. This is a great way. We just started Q3, so you can get the Aculist weeklies from the Pro homepage and check it out. We're still trending significantly higher than the last couple years. You can see what the 4th of July holiday does to new listings in the county.
But at least it's consistent.
Yeah, every year. Well,
Every
you can
year.
count on the 4th of July there. So I thought that was really fun. And I wanted to throw that in again, the Aculist weeklies, new every Tuesday. And then the last question, competitiveness, we had a lot of people say, hey, I feel like the market's softening. And I'm like, well, I don't know, because this looks pretty. I mean, when you have an all-time high price and stick with 110 of ask, I mean, the market just continues to be a very, very competitive. When you look by cities, these are pretty big numbers. Los Gatos at 108%. I think that might be an all-time high. Mountain View 111, haven't seen that since 2018, May of 2018. So these are still pretty big numbers. And even with zeros there for that bottom half of the list, it just means it's maintaining the strength, right? So you're seeing a lot of these prices increase and you're still paying that 10%, 6, 8, 10% over ask. And so where buyers got a little bit of a break, here we see it, but still even over 100, even the luxury markets. I mean, Campbell's May at 114 was a near all-time high. It's been 115 before. So, I mean, these are still, it's hard to keep that momentum, right? So Monte Sereno decreased for 2 months, but it was 115 in April, which was all-time.
Lots of room to go.
Yeah, I mean, and Morgan Hill, a bit of a retreat, but an all-time number in May. I mean, you have to really dig in, because if you look at this, you just say, whoa, down, But,
right.
Some of this is really hard to sustain, even as we switch here to common interest. The market there at 105, common interest, Santa Clara County, 105%, second month in a row. I haven't seen that since 106% in August of 2018, right?
I mean, 2018 again, right?
Yeah, there's a theme. Yeah, Sunnyvale between 103 and 106 since February. So a lot of these just a lot of consistency. I mean, San Jose, this is the highest we've seen since 107% in July of 2018. Where it's declining, and not by much. For example, Gilroy, all-time high number in May. So there's a little bit of correction in some of these, but I mean, this is pretty high, just Los Altos under 100. So there's still a lot of demand, Mark, out there, a lot of high prices, and it's June. So we'll see what happens in July, because everybody's kind of like waiting for something to change.
They are.
But not this month. So we'll be back next month to see what happens.
All righty. Hey, July is going to be a big month for us as well. We've got Dr. Elliot Eisenberg's second quarter review that we're going to be taking a look at. And on Tuesday, July 27th, you and I are going to get together for a workshop. I like how you explained it of, hey, it's time that you get to ask us questions.
Yeah,
right?
well, I know people watch these videos and they probably are like, why is she saying this? Or what does that mean? Or, why don't you ever do this? Yeah, so that's going to be your chance. I mean, we look forward to kind of an open forum and questions, and not just data. If they have a question for you, Mark, or some of our other folks. Yeah, it's just, how do we engage?
Only, clear cooperation, bring whatever you got. I think the tagline is, you've got questions, we've got answers.
And then in parentheses, hopefully.
Yeah.
No, we'll find it.
So,
but I hope everybody can join us for that.
That'd be fun. So, all right, Michelle, hey, thanks for being with us. Looking forward to the next chapter in 2021. We'll see you in August. Bye now.
Make sure to check out our Pro Support page for additional videos on a full range of topics. And don't forget to click that subscribe button on our MLS Listings YouTube page.